You're tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. Not the kind of tired that comes from a long day, not the kind you solve with a weekend off. I'm talking about the kind that sits behind your eyes. The kind that makes your chest feel heavier at night. The kind that shows up when the lights go out and the world goes quiet, and there's nothing left to distract you from yourself. You lie there, and your body is still, but your mind isn't. It replays things you wish you could undo. Conversations you should have handled differently. People who left, people who stayed but stopped seeing you. You turn over. You check the time. 2:17 a.m. You tell yourself, just sleep. But your brain doesn't listen because this isn't just insomnia. It's exhaustion from pretending you're okay. You carry so much inside you, so much you never say out loud. You've learned how to smile on command, how to nod when someone asks you good, how to answer with, yeah, just tired, because that's easier than explaining the truth. The truth is, you don't just want sleep. You want relief. Relief from the constant pressure to be strong, from being the one people lean on while you have no one to lean on, from feeling invisible in rooms full of people, from waking up already tired before the day even begins. And maybe you've tried everything. You've tried going to bed earlier. You've tried turning off your phone. You've tried the white noise, the don't think about it trick. But the real battle isn't in your bedroom. It's in your chemistry. It's in the quiet war between your body and your mind. You don't talk about it much, but your sleep has become a mirror. When you feel rejected, you sleep worse. When you doubt yourself, your thoughts grow louder in the dark. And here's what hurts the most. You've started blaming yourself for being tired. You call yourself lazy, undisciplined, weak. But what if you're not weak? What if your body is screaming for support in a language you've never been taught to understand? Let me tell you about someone. A man in his late 30s, successful on paper. He showed up, paid bills, took care of people, never missed a responsibility. But every night, he lay awake staring at the ceiling. His partner thought he was distant. His friends thought he was just stressed. His coworkers admired his work ethic. No one saw him sitting in the dark at 3 a.m., feeling like he was slowly disappearing. He wasn't dramatic. He wasn't broken. He was depleted. Emotionally, physically, nutritionally, he had spent years running on adrenaline, years surviving on caffeine and pressure, years ignoring the tightness in his chest and the constant buzz in his head. He told himself, I just need to push harder. But his body kept whispering something else. One night, after another stretch of 4 hours of restless, shallow sleep, he sat on the edge of his bed and felt something crack inside him. Not a breakdown, a realization. He wasn't failing at sleep. His body was failing at balance. You see, sleep isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about safety. Your nervous system has to feel safe enough to let go. Your brain has to feel supported enough to quiet down. Your chemistry has to be stable enough to shift into rest. And if you've been living in survival mode for years, your system doesn't know how to rest anymore. Here's the part no one talks about. Sometimes your insomnia isn't just emotional, it's nutritional. You can't think your way into deep sleep if your body doesn't have the raw materials to create it. Magnesium. Most people don't realize how quietly powerful it is when your muscles feel tight, when your jaw clenches in your sleep, when your heart feels like it's racing for no reason. Magnesium is often missing. It's the mineral that tells your body it's okay, you can relax now. Without it, your nervous system stays alert, guarded, on edge. And if you've lived through rejection, abandonment, chronic stress, your body has burned through magnesium like fuel in a fire. Vitamin D. You might think it's just about sunlight, but low levels don't just affect your bones, they affect your mood, your serotonin, your sense of hope. When you wake up feeling heavy before the day begins, sometimes it's not just sadness, it's deficiency. B vitamins, especially B6 and B12, they help your brain create the chemicals that regulate sleep and mood. Without them, your thoughts can spiral faster, your energy crashes harder, your resilience shrinks, and then there's melatonin, not as a crutch, but as a signal, a whisper to your brain that says, it's night now. You're allowed to let go. Vitamins are not magic. They don't erase heartbreak. They don't fix betrayal. They don't silence every memory that wakes you up at 2:17 a.m., but they support the part of you that's trying, the part of you that still wants to feel okay, the part of you that hasn't given up. You've been trying to fight exhaustion with willpower. But willpower doesn't replenish magnesium. Willpower doesn't rebuild a nervous system that's been bracing for impact for years. You don't need to be tougher. You need to be supported. Think about that. All this time, you've been judging yourself for being tired. But what if your body has been loyal to you What if it's been doing everything it can with what it's been given? When you were rejected, it kept you going. When you felt abandoned, it carried you through. When you doubted yourself, it still got you out of bed. And now it's asking for help. Not punishment, not shame, help. The turning point isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's the moment you stop saying, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "What do I need?" That man I told you about, he didn't suddenly transform overnight. He started small. He got his levels checked. He learned he was low in magnesium, low in vitamin D, borderline in B12. He didn't feel broken anymore. He felt informed. He began supplementing carefully. He stepped outside in the morning sun. He stopped using caffeine as a substitute for nutrients. The first week, nothing changed. The second week, he noticed something subtle. His jaw wasn't clenched when he woke up. His heart didn't race as often at night. By the fourth week, he slept 5 hours straight. Not perfect, but deeper. By the second month, something else shifted. He wasn't as reactive. He didn't spiral as quickly. He felt steadier. And that steadiness changed everything. Because when your body feels supported, your mind softens. And your chemistry stabilizes, your thoughts lose some of their sharp edges, and when you finally get real rest, not just unconsciousness, but restoration, you start seeing yourself differently. You start recognizing that you were exhausted. There's a psychological truth most people miss. Your thoughts are not separate from your biology. When your nutrients are depleted, your resilience drops. When your sleep is fractured, your self-doubt grows louder. When your nervous system is inflamed, small problems feel catastrophic. You've been fighting emotional battles on a body that's running on empty. Of course you feel overwhelmed. Of course you cry in the shower and pretend you didn't. You're not dramatic. You're depleted. And there is no shame in that. The world teaches you to power through, to grind, to hustle, to sacrifice sleep like it's disposable. But sleep is where your brain cleans itself, where your hormones reset, where your emotional wounds get processed. When you rob yourself of sleep, or when your body can't reach it, everything becomes heavier. The best vitamins for sleep aren't just about knocking you out. They're about rebuilding the foundation. Magnesium glycinate to calm your nervous system. Vitamin D to stabilize mood and support serotonin. B6 to help convert tryptophan into melatonin. B12 to support energy regulation so you're not wired and tired. Sometimes zinc, sometimes omega-3s, not random pills. Targeted support. But listen carefully. This is not about becoming obsessed. It's not about trying to biohack your way into perfection. It's about respect, respecting your body enough to nourish it, respecting your mind enough to support its chemistry, respecting your exhaustion instead of shaming it. You don't have to tell anyone you're struggling. You don't have to make a big announcement. Just start treating your body like it matters, because it does. You matter, not for what you produce, not for how strong you appear, not for how well you hide your pain. You matter because you're human, and humans need rest. Imagine this. A night where you lie down and your chest doesn't feel tight, where your thoughts slow instead of sprint, where you don't dread the morning before it arrives. That's not a fantasy. It's a possibility, but it starts with a decision. Stop fighting yourself. Stop calling yourself broken. Start asking better questions. Have I nourished my body? Have I given my brain what it needs? Have I been expecting superhuman resilience from a depleted system? You don't fix years of silent struggle in one night, but you can shift direction tonight. Maybe it begins with a blood test. Maybe it begins with magnesium before bed. Maybe it begins with stepping into the sun for 10 minutes in the morning. Small, quiet, intentional. And while you're doing that, something deeper happens. You begin to rebuild trust with yourself. Every time you choose nourishment over neglect, you send a message inward. I'm worth taking care of. That message matters more than you realize, because somewhere along the way, you started believing you weren't worth the effort. Maybe someone made you feel that way. Maybe life did. Maybe you did. But your body has never stopped trying for you. It breathes without applause. It breathes without recognition. It fights to regulate itself even when you're exhausted. The least you can do is meet it halfway. Sleep is not weakness. Needing support is not failure. Taking vitamins is not an admission that you're fragile. It's an admission that you're human. And there is strength in that. So tonight, when you lie down and the room gets quiet, don't start with self-criticism. Start with compassion. Place your hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat. That rhythm has carried you through rejection, through abandonment, through days you didn't think you'd make it through. It deserves care. You deserve care, and if no one else has told you this lately, let me say it clearly. Your exhaustion makes sense. Your sleepless nights make sense. Your longing to feel valued makes sense. You are not needy for wanting relief. You are not weak for needing support. You are tired, deeply tired. And tired people don't need lectures. They need restoration. So begin gently, intentionally. Support your body, calm your nervous system, replenish what's been burned through years of surviving. Let magnesium soften the edges. Let vitamin D bring light back into your chemistry. Let your body remember what safety feels like. And as your sleep deepens, something else will deepen too. Your self-respect, your clarity, your belief that you are worth the effort it takes to heal. This is your turning point. Not loud, not dramatic, but real. You don't have to stay in survival mode forever. You can choose restoration. You can choose to treat yourself like someone who matters, because you do. And tonight, instead of fighting the darkness, you can begin rebuilding the foundation that allows you to rest inside it. One nutrient, one choice, one act of self-respect at a time. You are not lost. You are depleted, and depletion can be healed. Start there and don't stop.